Closed doors, I'm a fool for your love.
Hey everybody, it's Zach, aka Zach's Reviews. We are back again with another video. And guys, today was Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But before we get into that, if anybody's new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, put on those notifications, like this video, because I'll just love to have you guys a part of this community slash family over here on this channel. If you want to find a little bit more about my channel, just explore the channel. I have a lot of content up on the channel I think you guys will love. And I would just love to have you guys here. And, we are literally almost to 300 subscribers. We are at 250 right now. So I would just love for you guys to join this family where we do nothing but spread love, positivity, and motivation on this channel and just talk about pop culture and cinema and just have a blast of a time. So let's talk about this episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. This was episode 3. And guys, this episode was fire. This by far might be my favorite episode of the show so far. I love the in-depth detail of us going into, by the way, this is going to be a spoiler review, so if you haven't watched the episode yet, go watch the episode and come back before I get into anything, because this episode is so in-depth of detail, and we're really getting into the story, I feel like, finally, of about the power broker and who's making the serum and everything. So I just want to make that clear real quick. But yeah, so oh my god. When are Keekers? Hi Keeks. Hi. Yeah, this is my sister's cat, Keekers. Hi Keeks. Yeah, before we get into well, actually we'll just get right into it. So yeah, it's about the power broker. It's about who's making the serum, and we're getting into a lot more of Zemo. So so we start off from where we started off in the last episode, where they're going to see Zemo. And right when they said that in the last episode, I'm like, okay, I know Zemo is going to be in the show, but I'm so excited to see how this is going to act, because this is the first time Bucky has seen Zemo since Civil War. So I was excited to see if, Zemo would think, Bucky still had the commands in his head, the codes to make him be the Winter Soldier. I was excited to see if he was going to use those tactics again, maybe because he thought that would break him out of the cell. So, of course, we end up seeing Sam and, of course, Bucky going to see Zemo, but Bucky's like, I can go in alone. And he's like, Sam's like, are you sure? He goes in. And, of course, right away, Zemo tries doing the command words to make him be the Winter Soldier. And he's like, I don't work like that anymore. And he's like, I know, I just wanted to see if they were still there. He's like, it looks like you have a little bit of something still in you. And literally, he says he says, I need your, he's like, there's more Winter Soldiers, or there's more, super soldiers. I need to know where the super soldier's serum is coming from. By the facial expression, he's not happy with that. He thought he killed the last of the Winter Soldiers, or anything of the super soldier program back in Civil War when he killed those 5 subjects. He thought that it was done with. But little does he know that, that wasn't the only super soldier beings out there that people could have got the serum from. There was Isaiah Bradley, which Zemo doesn't know about. No one knows about, except Bucky and Sam now are the only ones that know anything about Isaiah Bradley. So I love how and we end up finding out is that's a key note for them being able to get the super soldier serum, as we find out throughout the episode, is that's how they were able to pick up that. But so we end up getting to the point where that happens, and then we just see he's not happy about that, and he's like, oh, and then Bucky ends up leaving, and they end up walking out with Sam, and he's like, oh, we need to break him out or whatever. And he's like, you want to break out Zemo? Are you serious? He's like, do you remember what happened? And he's like, he can help us. He knows where we need to go to find out who is making the serum, and maybe he could lead us to the power broker. Okay, but as I think of right now, they don't know who the power broker is. I think all they know is just, they want to find out who is making the serum, and how there's, I think 8 super soldiers just running around. So we end up getting to the point where in this somehow garage, it's full of cars and stuff, and Bucky turns on the lights, but before that, Sam's like, where are we? And I love that, he's asking, where are we? We're not breaking him out, but yet Bucky was already in the stage of breaking him out. little do we know, because we end up seeing Zemo breaking out, and Bucky's explaining how he would break out, and Sam's like, this is in detail. Why is it so in detail? Well, and that's a part of the contingency plan of breaking Zemo out. They're in where the escape car is and everything. I found that so funny. He's like, no. He's like, this isn't happening. You're going back to jail. He's like, no, he's not. And he's like, and then Zemo's like, may I interject? And they're like, no. And they're like, you're not talking. And I just love that. And he's just sitting there like, okay, I understand. I'm not going to talk. I love it. Zemo was so, I don't know the word for it. He was so comedic. And it was like, he had brought that funny energy to a lot of scenes. And I think I love this episode a lot more because he was in it. And I hate that character. I just despised him in Civil War because he broke everybody up. But I love this character, I think, now. He brought such a cool, fresh, like, tone to this, of course. Like, you know, he's in jail. But he's still, like, he's kind of, like, settled down in a sense since he took some time in jail. And then next thing you know, they break him out and he's kind of like, you know, seasoned a little bit. He's not so, kill, but in a sense, just he's bringing those funny elements in when he can. And I just loved having him there. He was a real treat to have in this episode. I'm really happy he was in it. So then we ended up finding out that Zemo was rich because of his family. He was rich, and he's like, how did we not know you were rich? He's like, I never mentioned it or whatever. I never did anything to it because, you know, my family died and I never really did anything with my richness. I guess he didn't really care about him being like I guess he was rich, I guess, in the world, in like where Sokovia was. He was rich where he lived, but since that went to shit, he wasn't really like rich anymore. He wasn't like a big legacy in Sokovia anymore. So we end up getting to the jet, and of course, you know, Zemo's looking at Bucky's list of people he has to make amends with, and he's just naming people, and he named the one older guy that we saw in episode 1 that Bucky's trying to make amends for killing his son. So he said that name, and right away Bucky's like, don't ever say that name again, don't ever touch my book or I'll kill you. And he's like, oh, you know, I understand you're trying to make amends, you know, because it wasn't you being the Winter Soldier. And like, it was funny because Sam's like, I recognize that booklet. And it was funny because he's like, you know, that's Steve's booklet. I remember he had that, and I told him about the Trouble Man soundtrack. He's like, did you listen to it? He's like, yeah, I did. He's like, I think he said it was like, oh, it was okay. I like other. It was like, I like 70. Wait, what do you say about that? I like what music? I like 40s music. And he's like, what? You didn't like it? How'd you not like it? That's a great album. He's like, I didn't say I didn't like it. I liked it. And he's like, good. I'm glad you liked it. It was an album that changed everything. And then Zemo's like, yeah, it really talks about, you know, the African American like story. And he's like, Sam's like, he's wrong, but he's right. That had me dead. I was like, that's great. He just brings in those little funny elements of everything. It makes the adventure better, trying to find out who is supplying the serum. And if anybody's invested, it's Zemo, because he's like, I'm not going to leave my work unfinished. So I love that. And we get his mask earlier where Sam and Bucky are, in that, like, all the car lot of all of the cars he has. And we find his mask. And I love that. I'm like, okay, yay, we're getting the mask from the comics. Okay. So, of course, you know, we're on the plane. They're going through that kerfuffle of, you know, Sam talking about the Trouble Man soundtrack. And he's like, oh, yeah. And then I love how he's trying to back people up to really fit in. And it's like, it's so funny because it shows he's trying. And, like, in a sense, and trying to, like, break the weird fence going on of that, you know, he did all the bad things. I just love that. I just love how he was bringing that in. The writers were awesome for that, literally. I loved it. So, we end up getting to I guess that big city that kind of, like, which was beautiful, by the way. The CGI and the cinematography are amazing, literally. I loved it. It looked so pretty, so unique. I just loved it. So when we get, I think it's called Madripoor, the city of crime, and like there's a rich part and there's like a crime part. And he's like, of course, I guess, you know, you don't have any cool places and high places, huh? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, essentially, in Sam knew right away they were going to go to the crime level of Madripoor of the place. And I was like, okay. And just they played the cool music, because the underground music, because they're going into like the crime part of the city. And I love how they brought this made up city from, you know, the comics to life. It looked amazing. It looked great. And I love how he's like, we all have to blend in here because if they find out who we are, they will literally kill us. Because even Zemo does not have the best rep in this city, as he was claiming. He was, like, I guess, banned from the place. So it was interesting seeing him, and for us ending up seeing that he was banned from the place and seeing how, like, people really didn't like him there, in a sense. So I love how they all had to dress in, like clothing to blend in, and apparently Sam's alias was gay. He was called Tiger or something. Or what is it called? Smiling Tiger. And I thought that was funny. I was like, okay. So he's like an underground, like, pimp boss in a sense. He had to dress like a pimp. He's like, why am I dressed like this? Why am I the only one dressed like a pimp? He's like, because it makes sense because, you know, people like that in America, like, dress like that. So it makes sense. He looked at the picture. He's like, you know what, this dude, it's weird how this dude looks like me and he looks good, you know what I mean? It just, the funny comedic elements are so perfectly placed that make it fits so well. So I love how Bucky was dressed like the Winter Soldier in a sense with the cool vest showing the arm. I thought that was cool. I was like, this is sick. I like this outfit. I think I like that outfit more than the outfit he has when he was doing the mission with Sam in the last episode. I really like the outfit he was wearing in this episode. It just looked really, really cool. It fits him more than I think the blue does, but I do like the blue that he had when he was helping Sam because it reminded me of the costume he wore back in, like, when he was helping Cap, you know, in World War II. So I liked that. I did like the way that looked. His, like, it was like kind of like a callback of like a modern suit from like how Cap had the modern suit from the, you know, from his time being Cap back in the day. So I love that. It's like modernized. I like it. So we get to the scene where they go to like this bar slash, like, there's like scroll skulls all over the wall, and I'm like, that's insane. But that's sick though. It's gross, but it's cool. How they know about scrolls in this world. You know, I feel like scrolls are really making their way into Secret Wars, which we're gonna have on on Disney Plus. Which I can't believe. I think they're really trying to set that up. That scrolls are really invading Earth in a sense, because that wall was full of them, of scroll heads, literally. And there's some that were skulls, some that had like the green skin still on them. Like, so I don't know. I mean, they clearly know in Madripoor that there is scrolls, you know, on Earth. So I mean, I want to know a little bit more, like, how long were they on Earth? That's what I want to know. Like, did it start right after the people came back from the blip? Did it start when the blip happened? Or, like, I want to know, or was it there from like Captain Marvel and they've been there for that long? I'm really curious to know. Like, I hope we get into a little bit more of that and how long they've been on Earth and what are they trying to do, because there was a ton of fucking heads on that wall. But literally, I love how Zemo was using like, he's like, you're gonna have to act like the Winter Soldier, because like he was gonna, like, saying, oh, he's my protector, because anytime drama was gonna happen in the bar, Zemo would be like, Winter Soldier, and then Winter, of course, Bucky would act like the Winter Soldier and beat the crap out of people, and I thought that was cool. How, like, but it's almost in a sense, I don't know if he liked doing what he's doing, because Bucky, when, you know, Sam said, are you okay? He's like, yeah, I am. I don't know if Bucky wanted to get that anger out, wanted to just hit people, or maybe, in a sense, Zemo is making Bucky feel like he can never escape that side of him, that he will be the Winter Soldier, regardless, that's a part of him. And, like, I don't know, I feel like maybe Zemo wants him to embrace that part of him. I think he wants him to realize that you are the Winter Soldier, you are this person, in a sense. I don't know what Zemo's endgame is here, but I'm really curious to see where his character is going to go and what he's planning on doing. I'm not sure if he's just going to keep working with Sam and Bucky, or if he has a contingency plan of escaping and maybe doing this on his own, because he knows that they won't kill, but he will kill to have his work finished and not unfinished. So I'm curious to know where that goes. So, of course, you know, we end up leaving. We go to this girl that ends up knowing who the person is supplying the super soldier serum and who's making it. I forget the name, so let me know down in the comments below if you remember the name, because I don't remember the dude that is making the super soldier serum. But we end up finding out... Nagel? I think it's like, yeah, his name is Nagel, something Nagel. So he's making the super soldier serum. And then we end up finding out to the fact that, of course, Sam's sister calls Sarah, and things go to shit right away, because she says Sam. He tries to play it off like, oh, like, because when she's like, oh, we have to talk about the... I guess the plan or whatever of how, like, and she's like, Sam's like, but he's talking as Smiling Tiger. What plan? Explain what plan? Meaning, like, oh, they're thinking we have this is a setup, explain what plan. Oh, about the bank. And he's like, yeah, a lot of money coming through the bank. You know who I am. You know what I mean? We'll get that. And like trying to play it off. And it almost works until she says Sam. And she's like, who's Sam? And right away I thought they were put together. Sam is the Falcon. Like, how come you guys don't know? They have to know who the Avengers are. I was like, that's kind of funny. So right away, things are about to go to shit. And of course, we see someone earlier at the bar, but looks away, and I knew it was Agent 13. I knew it right away. I was like, that's Agent 13. Agent 13 shoots through the place, kills the girl, starts killing people, and then they leave the place, and right away, a bounty starts popping up on people's apps all across. It reminded me of John Wick. The way, like, they had an escort to the place, the way the place looked, the way the bounty picked up right away when that girl got killed. It reminded me of John Wick a lot, and I love that. The fighting and everything, it kind of reminded me of John Wick, the things that were going on. I really liked it. It makes sense that things would be like that in this world of Falcon and the Winter Soldier in a more grounded aspect. It made me feel like, the espionage and everything, it made me feel like it could be John Wick. It was really cool. So they end up running out. They end up pulling away from Zemo, though, because, there's so much gunfire going on. And then we end up, Zemo and them end up, getting back together. And, Sharon's up in the building shooting at the other people that have, Sam, Bucky, and Zemo all surrounded. And then we end up finding out, of course, that, Sharon's is alive. And, we end up knowing where she's been all this time. And she's like, no, Zemo dropped the gun or whatever. And my sister thinks that maybe she's working for the government still, but she's acting like that she's still on the run. I don't know, because she was talking to that one girl at some point, thinking that maybe she is working for somebody and needs to, get on this, or maybe I don't even know. But I'm really curious to see where her story goes. But we end up finding more about, she's like, I have a place here, you could stay, let's go. And she's explaining to them in a sense that, you guys should stay out of this. If anybody should understand, you guys should not be doing anything with this dude for all the damage he's caused. And you guys shouldn't be, why do you guys care about, who has the shield and all the stars and the stripes and stuff? It's all fake bullcrap. She's like, if anything, Bucky, you should understand more than anything, from where you were to where you are now, like, how that's just it shouldn't be a thing. Part of me felt like she was, in a way, thinking of Zemo. Like, she stayed there for too long. But Sam's like, you've been staying here for too long. Like, You've been on the run, yes, but, like, don't you understand? I was on the run as well. And I got pardoned at some point when I came back. I mean, if you came back, you'd probably get, pardoned too. You'd be fine. Like, they'd let you probably just live your life. If you don't want to do anything with the government, they'd probably just let you live your life, and you wouldn't have to be on the run anymore. I mean, it would make sense. Why? Like, I don't know why she thinks that she won't get, she won't get, she won't be able to have her life back. She will. I just don't know why she was thinking like that, because Sam was able to get his life back in a sense. So they made an agreement saying, if you help us find, whoever's making the serum, I will be able to get your name clear. Okay, and she's like, okay, fine, deal. And I just love it because Zemo and, like, when they were walking into the place originally, to Sharon's place, it had a whole bunch of, like, artifacts that were, real artifacts, and they weren't fake ones. And Sam's like, damn, like, what were you doing in here doing all this crime and stuff? She's like, well, I figure if I'm on the run, I'm going to make the best of it, and I'm going to, be able to, have a good life, at least here. So, of course, she was, selling, paintings that, were actual theoretical paintings that people thought, where, thought that they had the real ones, but they didn't have the real ones, and they had the real ones. So I love that because, it shows more about what she's been going through since she's been on the run. And I guess she didn't blip. She must have been there all that time, I'm assuming, because she was on the run all that time and she was doing all that, I guess. So I guess she was never blipped. So I can't wait to find out more about if she comes back in the episodes. I'm not sure if she will be, and we'll see her maybe 2 more times. I don't know. But it's going to be interesting to see. I want to know a little bit more about, what she's been up to, and, like, if she will want to go back at some point, or how, like, or what she's involved in, or what she's going to do. Because as we know, she went to that girl after Sam and them left at one point. She went with the girl saying, oh, we need to get on something about something that's going on. I'll tell you more about it in the car. So I'm wondering, I don't know what she's up to in a sense. But as we find out, we end up having the party. She's, like, blend in at her place because she's finding out more. She wants to find out more who's supplying everything in a sense, or how to get to the place to find, I guess, where this guy is hiding that is supplying the super soldier serum. So I love how, they're doing, like, they're Zemo's dancing around, which is funny as hell seeing that man dance. It was a very comedic element of the show, and it made me want to know more. I would love to have a show, honestly, about Zemo, to be honest, because I'm starting to really want to know more about his character and everything. I really want to know. So I would like a show probably on him. I'm gonna be honest. They're really making me like him. And I feel like, in a sense, he's becoming maybe one of those anti-heroes, in a sense, like Punisher. I feel like he's becoming that person, in a sense. So I feel like we could have a show with him, and I would watch it. But, so we end up getting to the point, of course, where we end up finding out where Nagel is, and we end up going to this, like, I guess, this shipping yard. And it's a shipping container that, Sharon's like, it's in there with Nagel and all the stuff. They open it, it's nothing. I'm like, wait a second, is it invisible maybe? I told my sister that. And I was like, but it was a trap door inside the other side on the wall leading to the place. And I was like, that's very clever that they have it there. That a place that you'd think it was empty, but there was like a trap door on the other side. I thought that was cool. And we end up seeing Nagel, and he looks just like a normal person. And I was like, damn, I would think there was more. It would be more of like a really sciencey, threatening person making the stuff, but it just looked like a normal, everyday dude just making the serum. And right away, when he was explaining, the Hydra had me, then the FBI picked me up, and they wanted me to continue the super soldier program. And after the failed attempts of the 5 subjects before, they were able to get me a sample of the serum, or an uncompleted sample from, as we all know, Isaiah Bradley. That's how he was that serum, and he made it sound like he was just like a little a scientist, like a pet rat that they got the sample from. That's what he was making it sound like, how they got it from. Because Sam was like, they made it sound like he was nothing, and they just got it from just from somebody that didn't matter. I hope we really get into more of that, because I think where it's going to end is that Sam's going to give the shield, I think, to Isaiah Bradley. And I think Isaiah Bradley's going to give it to his grandson, Eli Bradley. I think that's what's going to happen. I think that's where we're getting into, because I think it's already, in a sense, we all know the Young Avengers is going to happen at some point, because Hawkeye has Kate Bishop in the show, and she's going to take over as Hawkeye. As we know, the next Ant-Man movie, Cassie's older now, so she's going to become the next Ant-Man. As we know, there's going to be an Ironheart series. Kamala Khan is going to be in it. They're building the Young Avengers, as we know. And, of course, then it makes sense that, Sam would want to give it to somebody, the shield, to somebody that deserves it, that is literally the next Captain America, and that deserves the shield. If Steve was there, and if Steve knew Isaiah Bradley was alive, or even knew he had the serum, or anything about Isaiah Bradley, he would have gave Isaiah Bradley, I think, the shield after he died. I think he would have, if not sooner. I feel like he probably would. And he would want he would want everybody to know that he sacrificed so much, and he lost so much in his sacrifice to help America out. Because literally of the color of his skin, that's the fate he had, just because of the color of his skin. And even though all the good he's done, he got sent to jail for 30 years. So Steve would have done something about that, and I feel like Sam will say that, this belongs to you. Steve would want you to have it, and he would take it. So I think so. So I think that's where it's gonna go. I don't think Sam's gonna keep the shields. Sadly, I think it will go to Isaiah Bradley, and I think that's the right thing to do. So I think that's where it's going to go. I'm going to note down in the comments below if you think that's where it's going to go. But as we know, we're at the shipping container. We end up going in there. He explains it. And, of course, Zemo finds a gun and ends up shooting him. Well, Sharon's trying to defeat all these guys outside to end up knowing where, because the bounty's still on all of them. And Sharon's trying to stop all of them from killing it, Bucky, Sam, and, Zemo, where they're trying to find out information down below. And she's kicking ass. That fight sequence, she was going in on these guys. They weren't shit. She was kicking the crap out of them, and I love that. That was just a cool moment. She was going in. She was eating. So, I just love that. And then by the time, Bucky and all them got out of there, because, the place exploded because one of the guys had a bazooka. One of the people that were trying to hunt them down and blew up the place. Freaking, they all leave, and of course, everybody got a chance to shoot people and do stuff, but I love how Zemo ran off and was able to find a car, and they were able to get out of there, but of course, Sharon wasn't going to go with them. Sharon's like, get my name clear on our agreement, and yeah, and she went to the car with the girl and said, we have a lot of stuff to do. I'll explain in the car. Again, my sister thinks she's working with the government and she never stopped. I think maybe she has something to do with something. I mean, it looks very sus in a sense when she went to that girl. I feel like she has a lot more power, and I'm wondering what is she going to do? What's her involvement in everything? A part of me thought she could have been the power broker, but my sister's like, that doesn't make sense. In a sense, I don't think that makes sense either. Now that I thought about it, I was like, that would be a real big twist if she was the power broker all this time. But I don't think, she is. But I don't know what she would have went through all that time she was in, in this place. I don't know what she would have done, because she was already selling, paintings to people that, that shouldn't have even had, trying to make a living. So I don't know. I mean, the way she was talking to about the government, who knows? I mean, these people are trying to fight to help people out and to, give them food and shelter and water, and, she's trying, and those flag smashers are trying to make a name for themselves to help people, and, but they're doing it in a wrong way in a sense, because they want to pretty much get it back to the way it was when the blip happens, and they're not happy that a whole bunch of people came back like most people are. Because as we know, when the blip happened, a lot of things changed in the government and the way people live. And when you come back, you have to try to get back all that food, get back all these resources so everybody can live and everybody can eat and everybody can have a good life. Essentially, that's not what's happening. People are struggling to the people that were there all that time to get back to living, and people that weren't there all that time trying to find a place to live, trying to get food, so it's a very crappy situation right now that they're trying to balance out, and they're trying to fix the world still of the aftermath of, Thanos snapping. So literally, I don't know. I feel like Sharon is involved in this somehow. I feel like, in a sense, I could be wrong. I have no clue. It's just these are just theories going on right now. I'm just theorizing. I do think that the Sam giving the shield to Isaiah, I think that is a big possibility. I could see that that's where they're trying to head. But so we end up getting to the scene where they end up driving off. They end up going to the next place on the plane. They get to the plane, and Sam is talking to I forget his name. It's what's his name? Hey, Beth. What's Sam's friend's name? Torres. Yes, Sam ends up talking to Torres, and I'm sorry, Torres is sus. Torres knew that they were tampering with his Red Wing tech, and Torres, I feel like, in a sense, is trying to be the next Falcon. I feel like they're really trying to set that up. I feel like the government is trying to really frame Sam in a way, because they're replacing everybody. They didn't want Sam as Captain America. They wanted what's his face? They wanted it's on the tip of my tongue. They wanted Walker, John Walker. They wanted Elon Hodges, and as like the Bucky. They want a Falcon, which Falcon doesn't want to do it. So I think they're really trying to make their own Falcon that they can control, and I feel like that is Torres. I feel like Torres is gonna tell freaking Walker and tell Hodges that that's where they're heading. This is what they're doing, because as we know, we see a little bit more of Hodges and freaking Walker in this story, and Walker was not having it when he went to the site where they were hiding, the Flag Smashers were hiding in the last episode. He was not having it with that dude. The dude spit in his face. He's like, "Do you know who I am?" Meaning he's letting the name Captain America get in his head. Steve wasn't like, "Oh, do you know who I am?" This dude is so like, he thinks just because he has the name Captain America, he can do whatever the hell he wants. He's crazy, man. I feel like we're really getting to, he's using the name Captain America and like putting it in the mud. Literally. And I feel like in the next episode, we're going to get Cap Shield back. I think we are. I think we're going to get Cap Shield back in the next episode. I hope so, because this dude is literally ruining Cap's name. He thinks he can hurt people. He thinks he's just ruining Captain America's legacy. And we're starting to see that anger come out. His frustration, his anger. Him thinking he can control people, and he's the shit. We're seeing that come out of him. And Hodges is like, "Dude, you need to chill out. I know this is getting to you, but we'll find the people supplying. We'll find this Flag Smashers. Chill out." And of course, it was like, we need to go to somebody that has a better hand, meaning they were going to go to Zemo, but of course Zemo got broken out. And as we end up finding out that they find out that Zemo got broken out, and Walker was like, we know who did this. We know it was Sam, and we know it was Bucky. And they're like, and Hudgens is like, I don't think that's the case. I don't think they would break out someone like Zemo. And he's like, of course they would. And he's like, maybe I don't care what we have to do, but we have to make it look like, I guess that's what they did, or we have to use that as the benefit because they did that, and we got to take the credit or something, that we found all the bad guys and they're the ones that let them out. Or he's got some bad agendas, this dude. I know he does. I think Hodges is kind of like, dude, you're kind of losing it in a sense. And I feel like we'll really see that moment in the next episode, how far he'll take it. And it would take it too far, and they're going to take the shield. And I think in the next one after the next one, I think not the next episode, but the next episode after that is where we're going to see him use it. And then we'll have the finale, I think. We'll see Sam use it, not in the next one, but the next one. And then we'll have the finale of something. I'm not sure what it will be, but yeah. So that's what, Walker and Hodges have been up to. And I think... after we end up getting, off the plane to the next place to find out, because we know where Carly and the Flag Smashers are because of the information that they got. Literally, we end up finding out that, the guy said, Carly wanted to help whoever out. And, because she was going through something, she was sick. The girl that, Carly was, sitting at the bed at, she's sick, and I think she died, and I think she wanted more serum to give to her so she would live, but that wasn't the case. And then we end up seeing Carly sneaking out of the place with one of the Flag Smashers. They end up getting a whole bunch of food that apparently these people were just sitting on. And she's like, I'm trying to help people. Why don't you understand that? And then she ends up blowing up the place and killing everybody. And one of the Flag Smashers was like, what? There were still people in there. She's like, this is the only thing people will listen to. And she's like, drive off. And you can tell he's not into that shit. They're not into killing people like she is. She's willing to kill people. She's taking it too far. She's fighting for a good cause and trying to help people in a sense, but she's killing people. She wants it to be back to the way it was when people were gone. I mean, she's just thinking in the wrong way, but she does want to help people. So, I don't know. That's a very conflicting character for me because, she wants to do good, but she's doing it in such a wrong way. So, I can't wait to see, when we really get to see a face-to-face between her and Sam. And I feel like Sam will maybe try to talk her out of it and be like, you're in a good headspace. You want to help. I know you do. But you're doing it in the wrong way. You're hurting people. And hopefully we'll really get into more of that and we'll see a moment like that. But... literally, we're learning more about people, and they're really setting things up in a great way that I'm just super excited to see in the next episode and just see where this is all going to lead. I'm super excited to find out who the power broker is, and I'm just super excited just to know about, where this, series is going to go, where is the end going to go. But as we find out, Bucky wants to take a walk when we finally get to the place where we know where Carly is. And, Zemo and, Sam go inside into a place that Zemo said there's a place we could stay there. Bucky goes for a walk, but Bucky knew they were being tracked. He knew that there was a tracker on the ground and a tracker over there, that they were listening and shit. And they were, right when he picked him up, I did not put it together. But right when he looked, and he said, you dropped something, and he looked back to the street, and then looked back again. It was one of the warriors from Wakanda. And they played the Wakanda music. Bro, Wakanda is pissed that Zemo got out. They got word of it, and T'Challa and Okoye and all them sent one of the warriors to get back Zemo. And I can't wait to see how Bucky's gonna talk to her and be like, yo, we did that, but we need him to help us with a bigger situation. And I don't think she's gonna take that. I think he's gonna have to fight her. I'm just super excited, guys. I can't believe they did that. But in a sense, I was like, because right away I'm like, that's one of the warriors from Civil War that we saw in the scene where Black Widow's standing in front of T'Challa's car, and the warrior's like, move or you will be moved. And then T'Challa's like, as much as I would love to see you guys fight, I knew or recognized her right away. I was like, that's so sick. But in a sense, I was like, why didn't they bring in Okoye? They could have. I feel like that would have been a perfect time to bring in Okoye right then and there. A big threat like Zemo, you don't think T'Challa would send freaking Okoye after him? But I mean, I don't know. I was shocked. I was like, that would have been a perfect opportunity to bring in Okoye. And I feel like that would really get us more excited for, Black Panther and stuff, everything coming up and shit. I mean, sadly, I don't know. I'm not really excited for Black Panther as much because, Chadwick Boseman died, and, the dude meant a lot to me. So I don't know. It's so sad, and I'm wondering where they can go since, he's not Black Panther anymore, and there won't be a Black Panther in the movie. So I don't know what much they can do with going into Wakanda and where they could go. I mean, there's a lot to do, but without Black Panther, it's kind of like, I don't know. I really don't know. It's so sad that I'm just wondering. I don't know what they can do, and I don't know how they're gonna talk about his death in the movie and how he died in the movie, because I don't know. I feel like when you have a character that's strong as Black Panther, like, him dying in the movie, I don't know if that's going to be very believable to us, because that's such a strong character that I don't see dying and being taken out that easy. So it has to be a huge threat to kill him in the movie, and I'm not sure if they're going to go that route of killing him off, or maybe he's somewhere else. But I feel like that would be it's a very hard situation Marvel is in with everything going on. I just don't know how they're going to do it, but I'm just super excited. That's going to be interesting to see, if she's going to take it, like, even care what Bucky has to say about letting him out or anything, or I don't even know. Maybe we'll see Okoye on one of the beads, like, it will project, and it'll be Okoye, like, oh, did you get Zemo? And whatever. I don't know, it'd be a cool movie. Maybe she'll make a cameo. I don't know. Either way, I'm super excited. This episode is by far my favorite episode, guys. It was longer, too. It was an hour long. This was the longest episode we have. I just had a blast, guys. I can't wait to hear from you guys in the comments down below of what you guys like about this episode. Are you guys excited for the next episode? Were any of your theories correct? And just let me know what you guys thought about this episode in general, because I loved this episode. It was my favorite episode. And I just can't wait to hear from you guys down in the comments below. But again, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to my channel, put on those notifications, like this video. And again, I would just love to have you guys a part of this awesome community here that we have here, guys. We are literally at 250. Let's get to 300, guys. Come on, I could do it with your help. So please join the fam, and let's have a blast. But without further ado, I'm going to end this video here. I hope everybody has a great day, a safe day. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.